Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Community Connection. Have you ever met somebody walks in a room and just the energy goes, knocks you over because you're not ready for it? Yeah, our guest kind of is like that this morning, so you're going to really like her. But before we introduce her, we always have to check in with the Melvinator to see what wisdom and profundity that Gen Z's ambassador to the baby boomers has to share with us today. Good morning, Taylor.
Good morning. My favorite part of doing this is that when neither of us can come up with something to talk about, you immediately throw it to me.
Yes.
Say, what profound thing?
Yeah. So what profundity do you have today?
Well, none.
None.
But okay, I'm going to be a guest next week, so
well,
one, are
you
you
better
excited, and two, are you prepared?
Yes, I'm excited. Oh, am I prepared? It sounds like you're the one that needs to get prepared. Get some profundity before next week, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Morning, Claudia.
Morning, Mr. Day.
I already upset you by saying that you look lovely today.
It doesn't upset me. It's just an untruth. And
Oh, it's not an
annoying. Oh,
untruth. Stop.
We're not arguing about that.
Okay.
Wasting people's time.
All right, well, let's not waste anybody's time. Why don't you introduce us to the energy in the room?
Certainly not coming from you or me today.
No, it's not.
All right, so excited to introduce Courtney to you. We've known each other for quite a while.
Yeah.
And we've known about the organization she works with. And we're going to talk about that the second half. But first, we're just going to get to know you. So tell us all the things about Courtney.
I apparently exude energy, but I don't feel like I do. So that's weird. What things about me? I'm from New York. I recently turned 30. I got my bachelor's at Liberty with strategic communication. Moved here from Florida. So spent most of my life as a bartender / server. I've always had multiple jobs. It's been tough to not have multiple jobs because I like working. I've cleaned houses, done roofing.
Wow.
Yeah, random. Just all sorts of random things. Painting, yard work, been a private gardener. So, I mean, I just do whatever happens next. So now I run an organization.
That's pretty cool.
I love Taylor Swift. Which is a very controversial statement sometimes.
It is, but
Yeah.
you got some Swifties here.
Okay,
So.
good. So the Tortured Poets Department has been awesome. Yeah, that's it. Not very interesting.
Siblings? Did you grow? You have parents and siblings?
I do have parents.
Okay.
And they...
Most of us do.
Most of us came from parents somehow. And I have two parents, mom and a dad. They live in Pennsylvania. And they have... It's my stepdad, actually. So I have two half-siblings, a brother and a sister. They are 8 years younger and 10 years younger than I am. So
Okay.
I'm like half only child, half oldest, if that makes sense. Had a little bit of a large age gap. So, they're in Pennsylvania. My grandparents are in New York, and so I go there all the time.
Cool. So tell us what it is about what we do with Vision 30 that resonates with you. Like, what is your why for the things that you do in the nonprofit space or in the church space? Like, what is it that compels you?
I think my why is our vision statement. No one walks through hardship alone. That's why I do everything that I do. So when it came to Vision 30 originally, Love Heals has been through a bunch of iterations. So, and it's been one of those things that I didn't mean to start a nonprofit, but it did. And so it's been uncovering it over the years. And so when we were first approached, I honestly was like, I don't see how we fit into this, and needed time away to kind of develop who we are to figure out our fit in. Because when we started, we only worked with medical. And so it was hard for me to put medical crisis and family care into the same thing. As we've grown, we expanded our mission beyond just medical, and so last year we actually were able to do our first event where I saw full connection, and so that's been really cool. And so last year we helped a family that had to, in an emergency, take in their 4 younger siblings in 6 days, and so we were able to partner with y'all to get school supplies to them. We were able to partner with the local church to get a kitchen built out for them through money that we raised and get the family in a better spot and just connect them to resources. So that was really cool to see how we went from unsure of how we could work together to, oh, it's pretty clear how we can work together. But why I do all of it is because no one should have to do that by themselves.
So so this is all about meaningful relationships, right? And this is
Right.
what we talk about all the time, that this need for meaningful relationships. What do you think it is that makes that resonate with you? Like, what is it about those relationships and the need for people to not walk alone that resonates with you?
I mean, why does it resonate? Because I've had to go alone through stuff.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's why.
Yeah.
It's
And I guess most people have at some point, yeah.
It's inevitable. Like, truthfully, our that vision I know is impossible. Like, it's
Yeah.
not our vision because it can happen. It's our vision because it is possible in an ideal world, but we aren't going to get an ideal world here. So what can we set as the ultimate marker to try to get towards? Because if we go anything less, we're not trying hard enough. But no, I mean, we've all been through stuff on our own, transitions, loss of family members or friends, or school is even tough. Trying to apply for university with having
Yeah.
that's hard. So
Without
anyway,
a
there's a
support
lot
group,
of hard things,
Yeah.
that we go through. And I think people go through seasons of having a lot of relationship and connection, and I think people go through seasons of not having that. And so we can all relate and resonate to what it's like to even just have a down day. I mean, emotions are real, and so you're going to get knocked. And it's nicer to have someone to talk to about your emotions being knocked down than to be by yourself. So that's why I think it means a lot to me.
And I think that one of the things is that if a person is resilient and recognizes the need for community and can build their own, they're fine, right? But a lot of people don't have the skills to reach out. I mean, our family has had to move. My husband gets appointed to new churches. So we have to go into new communities. Every 4 to 7 years we've moved for the last 28 years. And so we became aware with all the kids we adopted, we're going to need a village everywhere we go. We can't do this. We can't walk alone. Like, we are not going to survive if we have to be alone. And so we had to intentionally build our village every 4 to 7 years. And we were able to do that because we knew how, and we knew that we needed to. And I think a lot of people live in isolation because nothing bad's happened yet. And so they're fine without community. And then tragedy strikes, or a loss, or which are the kind of things you're talking about, and suddenly they're very alone because they didn't think they needed anybody, and now they do. So does that make sense to you?
Yeah, definitely. I would love to know what your guys' toolkit looks like. If
Yeah,
you want
good question. That's a great question.
Yeah, because
Well,
that's a huge skill that you've had to practice over and over.
Well, I can. Okay, just real quickly, because I don't have time for my whole toolkit. But a
Okay.
couple of really, I think, significant things are that I approach life like the ball with relationships is always in my court. I think a lot of people do a transactionary thing where I'm going to invite you to go out to eat, and then you're going to come out to eat with us, and then I'm going to sit and wait for you to invite me. And if you don't, then that means we're not friends.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to text you, and if you text me back within a certain number of time, we're friends. But if you don't, then I'm not going to text you again because it's your turn. I never approach life that way. And so I go into relationships with this idea of the ball's always in my court with this relationship, and I decide if I'm going to drop it or not based on what they do, but based on my own decisions. So that's a pretty huge piece of it.
Yeah.
And then just spending lots of time with lots of different people to find your village is a part of it. You have to meet a lot of people to find out which ones click with you and who it is. And then the other thing is intentionality.
That's key right there, right? You have
Intentionality.
to be intentional.
Yeah, we have we just decided at the beginning of the year we pick 4 couples that we're going to have dinner with once a month.
Wow.
And every month I contact them and we get it on the schedule. I don't wait for them to contact me, or it may not happen, but
Yeah.
but we do that. And that's here in Lynchburg in the last 2 years we've done that. And it's very intentional. And that's how you build your village.
That's really cool.
So the assumption is people in crisis probably don't have the space to be intentional.
No, not
Right.
usually.
So others are going to have to step into that space, right?
Right. And if people have to build their villages when they're not in crisis, and that's part of
Right.
teaching people how to do that and how to do that. Because I'm going through a whole bunch of stuff personally right now, and I have such a village from, I mean, all kinds of support. But it's because I've intentionally over the years when I wasn't in crisis. Well, when we had all our kids at home, we were in crisis all the time. But periods of time when we're not in crisis, just the intentionality to keep those relationships going. Because some people who are in crisis find a need for those relationships, and then they go try to find them, but they haven't maintained them when they're not in crisis. And so that daily connection with people, doing life together, and I think having a community to do that in, and that's one of the big pluses of church, having that group of people to do life with is important.
Yeah.
So how does a former roofer bartender decide to get into this space?
Just to clarify, the roofing was volunteer stuff because I did rapid response and stuff, and that almost was my path of choice with nonprofits, was to go into disaster relief and rapid response.
Which is a different kind of support.
So sorry, I wanted to clarify so I don't feel like a
It's
liar.
Still crisis management.
Sure,
isn't it?
yeah. So you repeat your question. I panicked. I was like, I'm going to look like a liar. What was it?
Well, what called you into that space? This space,
Yeah.
with all the diversity of things that you've done, there's something in your heart or soul that said, this is where I'm supposed to be."
Yep. So we started the nonprofit, which also I love what you just shared.
Yeah.
That was good. Balls in your court, always.
Did I drop some nuggets?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm going to write it down on my wrist. If I had a pen, I'd write it on my hand. Anyway, it's in my brain. We'll talk after.
Okay.
Why? My friend was diagnosed with cancer in 2017, and I don't even know how old I was then. But anyway, so being young and seeing her life go from young and vibrant to cancer was confusing, to say the least. And so it switched kind of from being friends to going to doctor's appointments and helping sort pills and helping get paperwork filed for insurance, and the whole daily life became different. And I think through that journey, I know through that journey of her cancer diagnosis, I watched people mean well, but go from "how are you" to "I'm so sorry you have cancer." And it was just a constant reminder of that she was sick. And so it was like, we just talked about, how do you love people who are trying to heal? That's what Love Heals started as, everyone's healing from something. It could be mental health, it could be a loss, it could be sickness.
Yeah.
But if everyone's healing from something, why are we so bad at talking to each other about it? So what do? And we just talked about normalcy, listening, having fun. Like we would make Thanksgiving dinner just because we could. I mean, there was nothing spectacular about it, but what did it look like? And so anyway, that's how I ended up doing this, is because it meant a lot to her to have someone to be normal through a cancer diagnosis. And then I just found it over and over again. People need that. And people need to be listened to. And that's where our concerts come in. And the concert was just a simple solution to she needed money, so let's throw her a concert. But where Love Heals birthed out of that was, one, it needed a name, and I just randomly said Love Heals because I didn't know what to say. But two, she came and shared her story, and so instead of people listening, or instead of people imposing what they think that person needs, the audience was actually forced to sit down and just listen. And when they listen, everyone in that room gets to heal a little bit. And so that's what we found out, and that's why at every concert we do, a person gets 15 minutes of unfiltered time to share whatever they want. It doesn't have to be about cancer. It can be about anything that you're learning, that you want others to know, but having a place to be empowered, to be healed is what it's all about. And so that's why I'm drawn to it, is because of that experience with my friend. And specifically, I felt the Lord call me into, like, hey, this isn't easy. Are you going to keep doing it for others? Like, will you keep loving others anyway? And I was like, I guess so. And so I don't know how to explain it other than there's always been this wick that's lit, that's very tiny and off in the distance. And so I keep pursuing it until it's, if it's out, then I'll stop. But right now it's still lit. So we keep following it. So that's why.
There you go, Melvin Avery. There was something profound right there. That statement, I guess so. You gonna keep doing it? I guess so. Love that. Let's take a break, put in a commercial, and when we come back, we'll talk more specifics about your nonprofit.
Cool.
Okay?
Yeah.
Of course, as you know, March of 2020 changed our world.
Everything closed down, and people was in the house. We lost a lot of members, and a lot of churches lost a lot of members.
somebody walks out of the back of the church on a Sunday morning and says, hey, pray for us. In Bedford, we have 400 plus children in child protective services. To which I said, excuse me, what did you say? It was a ton of bricks to my heart.
We're in the forest area, and you think about the idea of forest, and it's like, there's just this general idea of affluence, like the people who are here are well off. And literally we're driving a couple miles away from the church, and we're seeing, those needs that are so great.
With Care Portal, we're able to access needs in our community that we were previously unaware of.
Our church will say the Great Commission, and the Great Commission tells us to go. The Lord, through Care Portal, is teaching our church to implement that.
The heartbeat of our church is we want to see the family restored. And this does that in a very practical way to meet that need, to restore those families.
Our families, the Care Portal responder families, they're asking us, what are you doing? It gives us an opportunity to talk about what the church is and what it should be doing.
I was a little skeptical about one more thing that I would need to try to do as a pastor. Care Portal gives us the opportunity to do something locally, to make a connection with our neighbors, people we know or now know, that goes beyond a transaction.
Ministry runs on the rails of relationships, and Care Portal has been that vehicle to give us relationships to people within the community.
The families that we're serving care about the other people in their community too and want to contribute back.
And then sure, I might have that in my house, or I might be able to help transport a family or take a meal to somebody.
So delivering stuff give us an opportunity to share the gospel with people.
They're not just meeting the need, they're meeting so much more and establishing relationships with families that are going to cause transformation.
It's been really neat to see how those relationships develop just naturally. That's not something that we can plan for and that we can script. It just happens because our people are cognizant and aware of what we have, the talents and giftings that we have in our congregation. It's really cool to see that work.
Literally, I need a 2-minute conversation with somebody to tell them about Care Portal to be like, really? Like that exists?
The process Care Portal does, they bring us needs, so it takes the burden off of us. And instead of having a critical eyes, we have our eyes to want to help.
People are messy. Sit in any group of people and ask them for prayer requests and just listen, and you're gonna hear messy. And we like sheep have gone astray. And so everybody's got stuff that they're dealing with.
God is teaching us to go after the broken. And it's not going to be easy all the time, and it might be a little bit messy, but God uses the hard stuff to make us soft so that we can be transformed into the people that He wants us to be.
Our desire to co-labor with other like-minded people, to dive into a place that we know that the heart of God is all about.
It's exciting for me to stand in front of my congregation on a Sunday morning and say, guess how many needs we've met since we began Care Portal? And they try to guess, and they never guess high enough.
I think it's a great blessing and the church's responsibility to be able to say, look, hey, if this is all you need, we've got that.
I would say to pastors, don't be afraid that this is going to place a whole extra layer of burden on you. If your core purpose as a congregation is to be focused on what Jesus wants us to do, this is a very practical way to do that.
Start small, and if the Lord show you result, continue and go as far as He wants you to go.
This brings all of those churches together to say, hey, we're going to partner. So even if you can only do small needs, there are other churches who can come alongside you. So there's so many opportunities to get involved.
It just became a no-brainer for us.
If you've ever wondered what church should look like, this is what it's like. This is what Jesus would do. This is what we're doing.
Well, between what you said, Claudia, earlier, and between what these pastors are saying, God's philosophy basically says the ball's in our court.
Yeah.
Right? He said himself, the ball's in my court. I'm going to have to initiate this because they're not going to come. I've got to
Right.
go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he stepped into the messiness and the brokenness because we needed to heal. And he sent us the counselor to walk with us until we get to that place, right? Courtney, tell us more about your nonprofit. What's the nuts and bolts? What does it look like on a day-to-day basis?
Oh boy. Well, we don't have an office yet,
Yeah,
so I usually
okay.
go to a Starbucks and just set up. No, but I mean, I'll give you our vision, our mission, so that there's like a understanding there, because I did say it changed. So our vision never changed: building a world where no one walks through hardship alone. Our mission is we make that a reality by connecting community, coordinating care, and covering costs for individuals going through hardship.
Gotta love the C's on that one.
The triple C's, all the it's actually 6 C's.
Yes.
But 6 C's is really hard to say.
It is.
So yeah,
Triple Cs.
yeah, the triple C's. I won't give you the backstory on that, but I'll tell you later. It's hilarious. But we got our mission statement nailed down. So now it's learning how to take. I mean, if you really want to know where our organization's at, we're learning how to take what we do and multiply it out, because what we do isn't all that complicated. And that's why I never knew if we should start a nonprofit. I was like, no. Benefit concerts happen all the time. There's nothing special, and yet there was. And so it's been just confusing, to be honest, trying to figure out what this thing is. So yeah, but benefit concerts do happen all the time. Benefit events happen all the time. You'll see flyers for them. You'll see different things going on in the community at the fire stations or wherever. So,
But nothing may happen after that, right?
But nothing
and that's
may
what
happen
you're doing.
after
You're
that.
doing something after that.
we walk alongside individuals and try to get them. We can't be the answer to all their problems, but we try to know where their next yes is. So yeah, we create a community event around them, and not only walk with them, but also how like multiplying that out. No, we haven't really found an organization that's consistently showing up in the same way time after time. And maybe what we can do is come alongside people who are already planning to do something and help them with the tools and the resources. So we're learning what that looks like at a greater scale. We're learning how to build out our community network so that we can get people further. Because it's certainly we're not solving all the world's issues. We have a small piece to play. And honestly, the piece we play is sometimes money, but sometimes it's just giving that person a chance to be heard. And that's our one spot. But we have to rely on the rest of the community. And I don't expect the person in crisis to know all those resources. So it's my responsibility to know and to get them to their next steps. And so we're learning what that looks like day in, day out. So yeah, we have lots of meetings, lots of conversations, planning events, looking at the calendar down the road, because, for an event, you don't just plan it in a week and do it. You have to back up and figure out all the promotions and getting the story. We do a verification process, background checks with them to make sure they're going through what they say they're going through, meetings, all that. So that's what kind of our day-to-day looks like.
Wow.
Yeah.
And about how many concerts do you do a year? What's your goal?
This year our plan was to do 3 out of Lynchburg. So we have Roanoke, Virginia Beach, and now Warsaw is on the calendar. We've added Bedford into that as well, and we've already done a Lynchburg event. So I'd say we'll be at about 6 or 7.
That's a lot of events in a year.
Yeah. Yeah, which to me, I'm like, it's not enough. We got to do more. But I have that, type
So
of
is it one
energy.
concert, one recipient, or are there
One-
multiple recipients in a concert?
We've done that once, but our model is a 1-to-1. Actually, that's what the shirt I'm wearing is for the one.
For the one.
So all the work, all the effort we put into it, it's for one person, and it's to center on that one person and share their story. Back when we were not sure if this was a nonprofit or not, I took off across the country in 2021 and did a 300-mile bike ride down the coast of California. I did a concert in Los Angeles for a girl out there who had breast, bone, liver, and spleen cancer. And she shared her story in LA at a concert. And someone looked at us, one of the artists, and was like, so you guys did a concert? We did a concert in Lynchburg too, and then took off. So you did a concert. came across the country, biked down the coast, and did a concert here, all for one person. And we were like, yes. And they were like, that's awesome. And so
I told you there's a lot of energy here, right? Yeah.
so from there, I was like, yeah, it's worth it. And you wonder sometimes if it is. Like, I'm a human. Like, sometimes it doesn't feel worth trying to get all the sound worked out and the kinks and the bands and the payments. And I have to go raise money because we don't take any money from them. We have a 100% model. So 100% of what's raised through a concert goes to that person. So don't get me wrong, sometimes I'm like, what are we doing? But every time I hear that person speak, I know it's worth it. And so that's why For the One has been our motto this year, because they are so worth. Are you kidding? Of course they're worth it. Listen to them. Of course they're worth doing that. And if we could all learn to just go one extra step for somebody, it makes all the difference.
Yeah, wow. Beautiful.
Yeah. So are we ready for Courtney to talk to the world?
We are. Would you like to look into the camera and tell folks what it is that you need?
I hate looking in the
Right?
cameras.
Money, volunteer, but tell us. What
We
what
need
do you
everything. What do we need? So go to our website, weareloveheals.org. Follow us on Instagram, Love Heals Official. And then at the bottom of our website, you can sign up for our newsletter. But we have a Join Us tab on our website. On there shows just all the different ways we can get people involved. We don't have a huge volunteer base yet. So if you want to volunteer for a concert and are flexible in that, let me know.
I think we have a flyer of one of your concerts.
Yeah, we have a concert this Saturday. So if you want to join in giving 100% of every dollar that you give to a person, this concert is on Saturday in Roanoke from 6 to 8 with Melinda Isley and Alan Brown, who's a Christian rapper, will be opening up. So we have Christian country kind of music headlining and then Christian rap. So that'll be a really fun mix. But it's for a 4-year-old girl battling leukemia.
Oh, wow.
She's had 3 brain surgeries already, and her name's Faith, and she's such a blessing. And so if you scan that QR code, it'll take you to see her event page. But yeah, please go on and donate. $5, $10, 100% of that goes to the family. We're trying to raise a couple months of the mortgage payment for them. If you run a business that has a give back program, consider Love Heals to be one of them.
That's good.
We're very new, so we definitely need help with our operations to sustain the organization, because if we don't get that, we don't run. So if you're interested in having a company doing a give back or a roundup or a dine to donate, or you just want to become a monthly supporter, we actually have a really cool opportunity coming up in June. So we'll remind you. That's why you should follow us on Instagram and stuff. But through the month of June, anyone who signs up as a monthly donor during June, their donation will be matched for 1 year every month. So that's a huge opportunity for us, and we want to invite y'all into that. So follow along and be part of the journey. So yeah.
That's awesome. Wow. A lot of work.
Sometimes.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's not.
So, but you're looking for space. So maybe there's an organization out there who has some space. Would you benefit from office space, from a place you can land and
yeah, definitely office space. I mean,
are you looking for that in Lynchburg or in Roanoke? Where do you?
Lynchburg for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Lynchburg is where we're set up. So yeah, it would be good to have one of. If anyone has extra space,
I know there's somebody out there's got some space.
Okay.
I'm believing by faith somebody out there's got some space.
Give us some space.
Give
with
her
a window,
some space.
preferably.
Yes, with a window.
If there's no window, I'll just go to Starbucks again. That's the problem. I keep being like, I'll just go sit outside. So yeah, that's funny.
Any profundity from you before we leave?
Not today.
That can't be true.
I already dropped some nuggets, remember?
You did drop some nuggets. You're done for the day. You can go home now.
Thanks.
It was a blessing to have you here.
Thanks for
I
having
love
me.
what you do.
Appreciate it.
And I love your heart for people.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks for joining us. We'll see you next Thursday on Community Connection.
A healthy, thriving family shouldn't be a child's dream. It should be their reality. It can be their future. We're a faith-driven family services organization focused on mending families so they're able to stay together. Think of us as an oak tree, a symbol of strength and resilience with deep roots. We seek to equip vulnerable families with those same qualities, meeting them wherever they are and providing hope, resources, trauma-informed care, and meaningful relationships that stand the test of time. Think of our ministries as branches of the oak tree, each specifically designed to meet different kinds of needs. Family is a nuanced concept. That's why our family care team approaches complex situations with simple solutions that include professional intervention, interpersonal support, and parenting education with the goal of mending families and keeping children safe. Life is messy, and sometimes people just need someone safe to talk to. Hope for Tomorrow Counseling is made up of compassionate counselors who are here to listen because everyone's story should be heard. Through Hat Creek Camp, we provide exceptional camp experiences. We pay careful attention to the needs of youth, encouraging campers to grow through trust-based challenges and successes. Our Connect team equips and empowers volunteers with the necessary training and support to serve confidently, matching their passions with opportunities. As a whole, our organization partners with caring individuals, churches, nonprofits, and businesses to do the redeeming work of restoring hearts, minds, relationships, and lives. Because every child deserves the solid foundation of a healthy family. Together, rooted deeply in prayer, we can make it possible. One child, one family at a time.